And this is all across for all partners. It's always a show. There's no strategy behind it. There's no thought process behind it. Trial pack orders were about half of the LTV of direct.
The type of person that attracts to purchase is someone that maybe doesn't have as much intent.
Because there's a new Graymatter and old Graymatter.
This is what it used to look like. Our original idea was to market to gamers.
And then where are we now? Because the ad that was winning, I looked at it and I'm like, this is not the best ad I've seen. By the end of month 2, we ended up at 144K ARR.
So small.
Just a small increase from 100K. Welcome back to the series, guys. You guys have seen the intro episode now, and you guys know that Graymatter went from 100K ARR to $1 million ARR. So now we're going to be talking about in this episode a bunch of different things. So month number 1 and how month number 2 went. We'll talk about auditing the account. We'll talk about the customer cohorts and the funnels that existed. We'll talk about new creatives, new branding, fundraising as well, pre-seed, and then how CAC went the first time around and what ARR we got Graymatter to at that point. So let's start with this. I'll mention this because anytime a partner joins us, we always take a look at their ad account. It's the auditing process that we do first. From what I remember, and this is all across for all partners, it's always a show.
Yeah.
There's no strategy behind it. There's no thought process behind it. There's no time like, hey, we're going to run this for a week and just see the results. This is for some reason across all the partners. You have to build a strategy out. It needs to be thoughtful of what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So that's something immediately we noticed. Random campaigns, trying different things for 2 days, turning it off, turning it back on.
Different naming conventions.
Oh, naming conventions. Those kill me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very important for someone like me that's starting a direct consumer company to do it themselves, at least in the beginning, to have like a little bit of a basis and then pass it off.
Yes.
But yeah, like it was everything that you just said and probably more.
Yeah. That goes with anything as well, right? You want to have some understanding of meta ads, advertising as a whole, and what things you're looking for. And something we found immediately was there were 2 customer funnels and journeys in there for you to get subscribers. One was direct subscription purchase. And the other that you guys were trying out was sample packs and free packs.
Yeah, it was free plus shipping. And it works.
What was the thought process behind that?
The product works. We believe in it. And if somebody tries it, they'll want to purchase, more of it. Mm-hmm. And we set that up. You paid $4.99 in shipping. Yeah. In the beginning, that shipping label came out of my office in my house. Right. I was sitting there making them and whatnot. And some days we had 30, 40 come in, and I was walking to the post office dropping bags and but when you looked at the data and you needed a few months of this to see, do these people come back? They did, but not at as good of a rate that we wanted. Mm-hmm. And strangely, not at as high of a rate as somebody who bought a full bag. And it might just be that they needed a few more samples few more samples than what we were giving them to kind of get hooked on it. Mm-hmm. But it was a good way to experiment getting new customers, helped us kind of train Meta in a way because it gave metadata on who was actually going to purchase because our conversions were much higher and our CAC was lower because literally free plus $4.99. It's easier to get somebody to buy that. But at the end of the day, it was better for us to just focus on a real subscriber that made a full price purchase. Their LTV, their retention was ultimately better, but it was a good experiment.
Yeah, that was my question immediately. It's like if we have 2 funnels like this, 2 product offerings, you could say same product, but a different mechanism, whether it's also landing pages, whether you're testing something else out. My immediate question was, what is the lifetime value of this cohort that is purchasing directly and of the other cohort that is purchasing sample packs?
Yeah.
And I think it was, from what I remember, trial pack orders were about half of the LTV of direct, from what I remember.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think the type of person that attracts to purchase is someone that maybe doesn't have as much intent.
Willingness
you've
to
less
spend.
skin in the game as a consumer, right? You paid $4. Even, so you maybe aren't the right person for the product.
And you're not bought in enough at that point either, because you're paying $5, right? And you're just testing things out. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, my immediate question there, because I needed the LTV to go, where are we putting our ad spend? So we have this ad spend that we're going to manage on Meta. Where does it need to go to first so we can maximize LTV ROAS?
Because we didn't have a lot of ad spend.
Yeah. That's how all companies start off with, right?
And you were like doing us a favor working with us. You know what I mean?
Because it was a good partnership.
It was through the partnership, and you're probably used to a lot bigger ad dollars. Like, all right, how do I make these peanuts actually yield some customers?
It's a lot more effort.
Yeah.
But the reward is there at the end, right? And then we're building companies like this, and I feel like I have, I've helped out with this as well. So it's rewarding that way. Okay, so we did the LTV cohort analysis to figure out, okay, where should we apply most of the ad spend? And I think we were testing both funnels out as well. Immediately after audit, what we usually do is look at competitors and their ad creatives. Because from branding and positioning side, I think we needed some work on that. With the current branding that you had at that point, which I think we should showcase now.
Yeah.
Because there's a new Graymatter and old Graymatter.
Yeah.
Jim, I'll let you show this.
So this is what it used to look like. It would come in this tub, a lot of neon on it. And if you watched the last episode, our original idea was to market to gamers. So it kind of looks like that. And it was okay, I guess, for V1. But
can I ask you one thing? How'd you come up with the design for this? What was the thought process?
We actually worked with another agency and just kind of put our heads together on it. Like
very gamer focused.
Yeah, like the idea of it being black and subtle, but not as subtle as it currently is.
And then where are we now?
This is what currently looks like. When I decided to do this full time and I had enough kind of inputs that it had an opportunity to really be successful, we wanted to rethink everything about the company, the packaging, the branding, the website, the messaging, who our target was, and just make sure we were really going at this correctly. And we got connected with a really, really brilliant brand mind in Toronto, actually. His name's Leo Gubbins, and he does a lot of brand work in kind of the wellness space for products like ours, as well as email marketing, design. So he helped us come up with this.
Yeah.
And, it is a lot more inviting to a broad audience, I would say. And our overall tagline on this is strengthen your cognition. And that gives us a lot of space, right? Like we can then take that and niche down to different, very specific ICPs. And, anyone can take Brightmind, anyone can strengthen their cognition. Plant-based nootropics and plant-based cognitive supplementation can help everyone. Now, you might want it for very specific reasons based on your own kind of struggles or things you want to improve. And one of those is ADHD. It is very helpful for ADHD. So you can think about that as our kind of wedge into the market. And, we did formulate a persona around that. We have some copy around that. And it's been really effective going to market with that as kind of a spear.
Yeah, from a packaging perspective, this is a lot more premium.
It's so much better.
I would buy this. This, I'd be like, what am I getting myself into?
It looks like, that looks like jitters. This looks like smooth energy.
But this is what I tried. I mean, when we started, this is what what I got, and I remember trying it. I was like, I hope I'm going to be okay with it.
Comes in these small packets too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then coming back to creatives, I remember we were trying to position you guys next to other competitors out there that were using these high, supreme quality creatives. Like Seed, I think, was one of them.
Yeah.
we had pulled some ads from. And for anyone watching, usually when we're bringing a partner on, we're looking at competitor ad creatives because those are the ad creatives that are already performing well. Now, surprisingly enough, we tried that with Graymatter account and the previous branding, but it didn't work as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually started performing not as good as we had been doing on our own.
Yeah.
And that was surprising because they definitely looked better.
Yeah.
And, this is the nuance in meta and advertising and just content in general, and why you need to have a process that is repeatable and sprints and kind of a constant motion of new creatives, because you kind of never know what's going to work.
Yeah.
And
my approach there now is like, usually what we do is 70% based on competitors, 30% our own imagination, because you might find a winning ad that way.
Yeah.
Because the ad that was winning, I looked at it and I'm like, this is not the best ad I've seen.
We had this one ad.
Yeah.
We called it the super ad.
The purple one, right?
It looked so bad. Like I was like, there's no way this is going to work. And it was, for a time, the only ad in the company's existence that would ever get us new customers. Oh, and if you can edit this, we'll show it.
Pop it up there.
Yeah, it was not impressive.
Yeah. And funny enough, like what we found that did work from a static perspective is, I don't want to say overwhelm, but there was a lot of ingredients, a lot of science, a lot of, hey, this is what Graymatter is, just showcasing like 10, 12 things, and we'll pop up the creative here too. It's like that overload, and maybe people are curious after that. What is this?
I remember I'm in all sorts of e-commerce groups, and and I joined a webinar and just typed in my ad in my company, and they're like, "Oh, pull it up," and I pulled it up, and it was the Avi guys. Avi?
No, I don't.
They have an amazing company, and they also have an e-commerce community.
Yeah,
and they're like, "No way this ad works." It's
was it
too overwhelming.
The purple one?
No, it was the new one.
Oh, the new one that was working well. Yeah,
and I think it's just something about our product where people want to see the ingredients.
Yes,
you know what I mean. They're interested in it. This whole movement towards wellness, people want to know how it works. They want to know what it is that's in it. And that's kind of what the ad shows. And it also shows in a very simple way, what does this do, right? What does Alpha GPC do? What is the maca doing? What is the green tea doing? And it just connects it to that kind of function that it's there for.
They care about the science and the formula as well, and what it means for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and like how
because the 27
how's this going to make me feel?
Exactly. The 27 ingredients in and out.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, okay, I know some of them. This is going to make me feel better, and I'm locked in focus right now.
So and they might have heard, they might have heard on a podcast that L-theanine helps them, right? Or like
from Huberman or something.
Right. Yeah. Or like L-tyrosine, right? And they're like, oh, okay. Like, oh, it has that. Cool. I heard that was good.
Right.
It happens all the time with all sorts of stuff.
And then coming back to that second month, it was the branding switch. What was interesting from our part was immediately when we started working on the account, I think the branding shift was coming a month in. And for us, it was, we need to now make ads for the current branding to find winning ones, but then also new ads for the new branding as well. So that got a little bit crazy, but I think we were able to figure something out there and get some good results back in.
Yeah, well, just from an operator standpoint, you have to literally switch your entire business over, and you have to align all of that creative that you just mentioned, your ad account, your communication, your email marketing, overhaul all of that, but also align it with when the manufacturer actually has that product ready for you. And we've historically had problems with our manufacturer, and we can get into that later.
Yeah.
But trying to align those things was hard. And so like you were ready to go and I was ready to go, but we didn't have the product.
Yeah.
So we were just waiting on the product.
Yeah.
And
the last thing you want is to show this and then have them get this.
Right. Yeah.
And look, I got scammed. No, that's funny. But the branding change was ultra successful.
Yeah.
I think people loved it.
Totally.
Conversion perspective as well on the website, also just from a brand and positioning perspective as well. And I think that did help as well from the performance marketing side.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up a few screenshots here. We had a pretty high cost of acquisition when we had first started, but October 20th, I sent out the message that we were hitting like a 26.70 per subscriber CPR, which is crazy. That was like
It's amazing.
5.5x ROAS based on LTV. And then
our conversion rate tripled within like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just the change in the aesthetic of the website.
Yeah.
Especially when you're selling a product like this. Like you need to build trust, right? And you know, as a founder and someone who is scrappy and wanting to do this bootstrapped, I did everything that I could on my own with my co-founder, including like design the website, right? Work with the packaging that we had. And there are things that I've learned that you need to just go get experts on. And the design of the website, the packaging, like that's definitely one of them. If what you've put out there in the beginning could help just to get like a proof point on like, does somebody actually want this?
Yeah.
Great. Once you have that, you're like, all right, I'm really going to do this. Go do that right, because it really, really matters.
So Jim, from the agency perspective, right? I've now worked with 40, 50 founders, and the people that are successful will hand off when it's the right time to do it.
Yeah.
The people that get stuck in, let me just go look at meta ads. You did this as well. You used to do this in the beginning, but that's a trust thing. That's completely fine. But anyone that gets stuck in just the marketing side, they don't have time to go focus on other things in their business, right? Like design, branding, hiring, all these things. So the feedback that I get from the founders that I've worked with, people who move fast, people who hand off certain things to experts, they're the ones that are crushing it now.
Yeah.
Regardless of us, like we only have so much control, right? From a marketing perspective, just the whole company as a whole.
I remember you told me, oh, you know, I don't even want you to think about marketing and meta ads. And in my head, I was so deep in it at the time that I was like, there's no way. Like what? But it kind of like gave me this epiphany, like, oh, okay, that just seemed like a reality I could never touch.
Yeah.
But it's super helpful.
Yeah.
We just had a CS guy join us to help us with our customer service.
Yeah.
And it's a similar thing. Like I'm no longer responding to emails all day. Like, wow, this is amazing. After all this time.
I'm going to ask you this here. At the moment, I know that person just got brought on, but is it the same quality as how you would do it?
It's probably better.
It's better?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. For me, when it comes to things like that, like I see a little bit of a drop of quality sometimes when it comes to hiring, but you have to also give that up as well if you're trying to scale.
Well, we grabbed him from a really, really successful competitor.
Right.
He came in with all these ideas and processes and softwares and macros and how to answer things. And I'll be honest with you, I'm usually really good with customers, but sometimes when they're in the wrong, I would be like, I'll tell them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not the best.
What's an example? I want to hear this now. I haven't heard this from you before. Give me one example.
Like, you know, somebody will order twice, subscribe twice, and give us the wrong address and be like, oh, you sent it to the wrong place.
Yeah.
Like,
why'd you do that, Jim?
yeah. It's like, well, how did we magically get that wrong address? You know what I mean? For the most part, you know, customer's always right, but it's just, he's very good at being consistent and consistently saying the right things and, you know, building some process around it.
That's incredible. Yeah. So that kind of brings us to the end of month 1 and month 2 here. So near the end, we started finding really good cost of acquisition numbers and we started scaling ad spend up a little bit, slow by slow. That was also something I had to work with you on, Jim.
No, that's wait, hold on. That's actually a really big, really big point. Is because for whatever reason, we would keep the only way to keep our CAC in an acceptable place was to have campaigns that had low dollar amounts. And if we had a successful campaign, instead of increasing the budget, we would just duplicate the campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, for whatever reason that worked and increasing the budget didn't. And I think one of the main ways that you've helped us scale is knowing when and how to increase the ad budget. In particular, we're about to get into the next episode of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, where we really took off. That was a huge, huge deal.
Yeah. There's certain things that work in ad accounts at a smaller scale But then as you start to scale, you want to find those winning ads and have a proper setup to your campaign.
Yeah.
And your structure there, not just on Facebook, but anywhere else. So now when we go on, the structure is there. It's easy to understand, which allows data-driven decisions. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. But yeah, guys, that is this episode here. By the end of month 2, we ended up at 144K ARR.
It's so small.
Just a small increase from 100K ARR. So not the growth that we had expected immediately, but still growth.
The foundation was set.
The foundation.
Because the brand was new.
Exactly.
The branding.
Yes. So guys, stay tuned for the next episode where we're taking advantage of now Black Friday, Cyber Monday, New Year's as well, in November and December month.
Ads that we've run off of me making content have exponentially been better than anything we've ever seen.
One of the reasons that we got to that 356K.
Yeah. It helped elevate our brand in a way. It shows that you need to invest in stuff like that.
Yeah, what is this about? Okay, yeah.
Like, I don't know what this is supposed to cost, right?
Yeah.
To get there through an ad, that ad has to be good. How we've kind of laid it all out and really spoke to what the customer's pain points are and how our product helps them converts.